Chris the Nightmare Ariel, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Man, so I was on Sky Sports and I was reading this article. I'll leave the article in the description box. And like always on my channel, you can click it, read it, and come to your own surmise. But man, David Haye, whether you love him or you hate him, he is in a pretty good situation now. He does have a fight coming up with Tony Bellew. If he wins that fight, though, he's going to be in a good situation. We know he's rated #1 by the WBO. Joseph Parker and his team are going to go ahead and, from what I'm hearing, they're going to fight Hughie Fury, Jarrell Miller, or David Price. Those are the next three highest rated available guys after David Haye. Obviously, he cannot take the fight because he's fighting Bellew. But in this article I was reading, they're talking about, we know that Klitschko and Joshua, they're fighting for the Super WBA title, and obviously Joshua's IBF title's on the line. Now, win or lose, whoever wins that fight, whether it's Joshua or Klitschko, real sticky situation, man, because the IBF, they're ordering the winner of that fight takes on Kubrat Pulev, and the WBA is ordering the winner of that fight to take on Luis Ortiz. Now, for us boxing fans, that means we're going to get a good fight. You know what I mean? It's possible we may see a Klitschko versus Pulev rematch. It's possible we may see Joshua versus Ortiz. I mean, but it seems as if one of those organizations is going to strip the winner. And they're talking about David Haye in this article that he will be if the IBF strips the winner, then it would be Pulev versus David Haye. Pulev has the mandatory, and then David Haye will be the next highest rated available fighter. So he could possibly fight Pulev. I know this is all down the road, man, especially with Haye having a fight coming up. Whether you think he's going to beat Bellew in 10 seconds, what I mean? He still has that fight coming up. And, so it's speculation right now, but man, my idea still remains the same. I know this may not even be possible, but money talks, man, and maybe if there was enough money involved to pay everybody to shut them up, I think the best thing would be to have on that Klitschko versus Joshua, the Klitschko versus Joshua card, they should have Ortiz and Pulev fight. And then the winner of that takes on the winner out of Joshua and Klitschko. That way you can keep both the belts together. Both of those guys are in mandatory situations. So just have them fight another fight, and then then instead of fighting for one title, the reward will be you can fight for two titles, a unification. You know what I mean? Pay them a handsome amount to fight in this fight. You know what I mean? And then they can fight the winner in the unification fight. That would be how I would run it. But if you're managing these guys, I can understand, if Sauerland or, and Pulev, they're looking at it like, well, shit, why do we need to fight again to earn our title shot? We already have a title shot. So I understand that. But my thing is, well, would you rather fight for two titles or one title? Now, to them, of course, they want to fulfill their mandatory position. But if I was running it, I'll just pay them a hefty amount so they can take part in this fight and then fight. And then the winner gets to fight at a unification. That way we're not dividing up the belts because we want an undisputed champion, man. And if one of these guys gets stripped, we're going to prolong having an undisputed champion. Because then that fighter may want to fight a mandatory first or so on and so forth. So I guess we'll see how it plays out. David Haye is in a good position though, man. What I mean? Just off his name alone, because that Demore fight, although he did smash Demore, and the Jericho fight, didn't necessarily, I don't think it helped his rankings. What I mean? It's his name. What I mean? He's a popular fighter, and he's a former, title holder two weight classes, man. With, like I said, whether you hate David Haye or not, the dude can't fight. And if you don't think that, then I guess, man. But that dude can't fight, and he is an asset to the heavyweight division as far as making great fights. And I love to see David Haye fight one of the top guys, man. I think it'd be a great fight. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I mean, there could be a possibility where we could have Anthony Joshua fighting David Haye. That'd be a huge domestic fight. I would like to see that. You know what I mean? But plus David Haye, that's what I think he wants anyways. I think no, David Haye wouldn't be able to fight Anthony Joshua because Pulev will have the mandatory for the IBF. So yeah, man. I mean, David Haye is just in a good position. Number one by the WBO, and there's a possibility if the winner gets stripped of the IBF, he could possibly fight Pulev, not Anthony Joshua, Pulev for the IBF strap. But I don't know, man. I wish the IBF and the WBA would just work together, man, and just have fucking Pulev and Ortiz fight on the undercard. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think about David Haye being in this positions that he's in? You know, rated number one by the WBO, and it's a possibility that, you know, if the winner, like I said, the winner is stripped of the IBF, it can be David Haye versus Pulev. Who would you favor in that fight? I'll favor David Haye in that fight. Pulev has a good damn jab, man. But I think Haye fights at a distance to where he can possibly make Pulev overextend and reach with his jab, and then maybe Haye can counter Pulev over the top of that jab with one of those looping right hands or looping left hooks that he likes to throw. He throws from very awkward angles. He brings his punches up from the floor. You know, I've said that before. He brings them motherfuckers up from the floor, man, and he wings them punches over. He catch Pulev. Pulev fights very straight up. He fights even taller than what is he, 6'4"? He probably fights like he's 6'7", like he's even taller by standing straight up and using that jab. And you know, he likes to jump in and out sometimes with that jab. But he does back up in straight lines, and I think Haye can possibly line him up and catch him with one of those hooks and counters. And from the last time I seen, David Haye had a nice pair of legs as far as being able to move around and having mobility and nimble feet. You know, but I really haven't seen him move around to that degree since the Chisora fight, and that was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? But if David Haye still has those legs, man, and he can move around and frustrate Pulev and get in and out with combinations, I think he beats Pulev. Yeah, I'd favor David Haye over Pulev. Some people may favor Pulev. They think the jab will do enough to keep Haye at bay, and then that right hand would be enough. I don't think Pulev's dynamic enough, man. Vladimir was able to do it. Vladimir's a lot better fighter than Pulev. I think his right hand's better, and Vladimir's punch variation is a lot better than Pulev with those hooks off his jab and the straight right hand, and just think his punch selection is a lot better than Pulev, and he's a bigger fighter than Pulev. You know, so but I think David Haye can beat Pulev though. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. I'm out.